Welcome to this brand new video series where we're going to be deep diving into the machine that started it all for us, the Slleio Espresso. Slleio was founded in 2007 with one simple mission: to make coffee better. Slleio Espresso machines are designed and crafted in Seattle, Washington, and strive to make coffee better for baristas, technicians, cafe operators, and guests. And this machine, which sits in the range alongside the Steam EP, the Steam LP, and the Steam Single, was born to allow coffees to truly translate their amazing potential on the cupping table into the espresso cup. The Slleio Espresso is available as a single group, which is this machine that we're going to showcase in these videos, but also in 2 and 3 group configurations, all of which utilizing the patented needle valve technology, giving the barista incredible flow rate control. In this video series, we'll run through everything you need to know about the espresso single group, including sharing some of my favorite starting recipes with you. Today, starting with the icon, the Slleio shot, but then in the coming weeks, sharing recipes such as the reverse Slleio shot, the low flow Spro, the 15-15-15, and also a bit more of an unconventional way of using the machine to brew coffee which is closer to filter coffee in strength rather than high intensity like espresso. For each video, we'll share with you the types of coffee that we found give the best results based on each recipe, and also how you can tweak and adapt these recipes to get exactly the results you're looking for. But, and there's a really important point I must stress here, these videos are not designed to be prescriptive. This isn't some sterile navigation system saying, turn left, turn right, turn left, and you've reached your destination. This is designed more to be a little bit of a roadmap, so when you're making your way along your own journey to your own perfect espresso, you've got more information when you're making decisions, what might happen if you turn left, what might happen if you turn right, giving you more information based on our experiences of using this machine. With this ridiculously powerful machine, there are literally countless combinations of variables at your disposal. Off the top of my head, you can play around with different flow rates, different pressures, adjusting the brew temperature, different shot phases and timings, different ways of saturating the puck from very slowly to very quickly. All of that on top of the usual things you can control, things like dose, yield, grind size, basket choice and size. We've got a lot of ground to cover. We're gonna have a lot of fun along the way, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Before we go ahead and brew a Slleio shot, I just wanna give you a quick reintroduction to this machine in case you're not familiar with it, and also so we're using the same language and terminology throughout these videos. This machine has the tagline of the ultimate coffee professional's tool for a reason. At the core of its design are coffee quality and workflow. So from a design perspective, it's got that really nice low profile, which allows baristas to engage really clearly with their guests. The shot mirror allows you to carefully monitor extractions without having to constantly crouch down, and the independent brew and steam tanks give excellent temperature stability and also enough steam capacity to keep up in any environment. It features the intuitive barista dashboard so you can easily fine-tune your settings, and of course, it utilizes the patented needle valve to manipulate flow, which can be easily accessed by removing the cup tray, a feature which we're going to cover a lot in the coming videos. The Espresso series is highly customizable, but as standard, it features the silver powder-coated X's, the actuators are finished in European ash, and we also have black powder-coated rear and side body panels. The Espresso single group's compact footprint makes this a dream machine for the kitchen counter, but this is absolutely a professional grade tool, easily capable of keeping up in a busy environment. So with all that being said, now we need to talk about what exactly is a Slleio shot. Anyone familiar with espresso folklore will have heard of the Slleio shot. This iconic style of espresso extraction has reached mythical status, but it is often misunderstood. So at its heart, a Slleio shot can be defined as an extended extraction with the reduced flow rate pre-brew phase and an unrestricted full brew phase with the option to decline back into that reduced flow rate for the final phase of the extraction. These extractions tend to yield espresso shots which highlight body, sweetness and clarity, and the basic foundation of the Slleio shot can easily be adapted to get exactly the results you're looking for, which we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. To understand how to brew a Slleio shot, we need to first of all understand the brew actuator. So on here, we've essentially got 3 positions. As the barista looks at the machine, on the right, this is the off position. In the middle position, we have that reduced flow rate, which is restricted by the needle valve inside the machine. And then in the left position, we've got a full unrestricted flow rate, where the water bypasses the needle valve and runs with an unrestricted flow rate. The first step to brewing a Slleio shot is to set our pre-brew flow rate, which we control using that needle valve. So as a starting point for a lot of coffees, I recommend going with 1.67 grams per second, which if you're measuring over 30 seconds, will be equivalent to 50 grams in that 30-second time frame. If you're brewing a very light roast coffee and you want to increase the total contact time and also the extraction, you might want to slightly reduce this pre-brew flow rate to maybe 1.33 grams per second, equivalent to 40 grams in those 30 seconds. Or if you're going for a very dark roast coffee and you want to slightly reduce the total contact time and the extraction, you might want to increase this to perhaps 2 grams per second, which is equivalent to delivering 60 grams in 30 seconds. Whichever you decide to go for, you'll need quite a fine grind in order to reach our desired total contact time as a starting point of between 45 and 55 seconds. For this shot, I'm going to brew an 18-gram dose, but obviously adjust this based on the basket you're using. And as a little quick tip, if you see the indent of the screw in your puck, you probably got a little bit too much coffee in there, so just bring down your dose slightly. When it comes to your brew recipe, obviously if you prefer a slightly longer shot, you can go for maybe a 1:2.5 ratio, maybe 1:3, or if you like a slightly shorter, more intense shot, you can bring this ratio a little bit tighter, maybe 1:1.5. Whatever works for you, just consider the impact it will have on the texture and the flavor of the shot. So first of all, quickly purging our group. Then we can start brewing with our pre-brew phase. In position 1 on the brew actuator, with the restricted flow rate, we're very slowly introducing water to the puck throughout the pre-brew phase. This level of control over the very low flow rates that can be consistently achieved on the Slare Espresso make the Slare shot unique and very difficult to replicate on any other machine. So as the puck saturates, we can use our shot mirror to monitor what's going on. And for a classic Slare shot, we're going to move into our full unrestricted flow rate in position 2 as soon as you see the underside of the basket fill, aiming for between 20 and 30 seconds in this pre-brew phase as a starting point. Now we're in the full brew phase, the water is bypassing the needle valve and being delivered at its full unrestricted flow rate with the water debit of around 9 grams per second and a maximum pressure of 9 bar. We're aiming for another 20 to 30 seconds in this phase before finishing our shot at our desired yield, which in this case is going to be 36 grams. So there is your classic Slare shot, and giving it a little taste. The first thing you notice is the clarity. The flavors really pop, they're very vibrant. The texture is really viscous and coating, really quite syrupy. And when it comes to balance, we're really pushing through lots of sweetness here. Really delicious, but there's so much you can do with this, taking that standard recipe and making 1 or 2 very small changes, which have a big impact on the profile of the cup. In this shot, I moved from our pre-brew phase with the restricted flow rate into the full unrestricted flow rate. As soon as I saw the puck was fully saturated, and as soon as you saw the coffee fill in the basket underneath. But if you're allowed to maybe 2 grams of coffee into the cup before you moved across, this tends to bring down the perceived acidity of the shot, allowing a little bit more sweetness to come through. You can increase this to 4 grams of drips before moving across, which again, brings down our perception of acidity, generally speaking, in my experience, and again, allows more of a kind of soft, round sweetness coming through. And if you allowed even more than that, maybe the first 6 or 8 grams in there, you do get quite a stewed, fruity sweetness in there, which if you have a very high acidity coffee, could be really useful. So that's something we call extended pre-brew, which is more towards the beginning of the extraction. But if you move to the end of the extraction and you move back into that middle position with the restricted flow rate, we call this a decline. And you can decline for as much of the shot as you like. I find a real sweet spot to be the final third of the extraction by weight. So if we've got a 36 gram shot like this one, backing down into that middle position for the final 12 grams or the final third of the shot. And I find the more of the shot you extract in that decline, you get a lot more kind of softness and roundness, more integration. You do lose a little bit of clarity, so you do need to find a sweet spot there. But again, a really powerful technique just to ramp down towards the end of the shot, which I tend to use pretty much every single time. Obviously you can combine the variables I've talked about in this video. So starting off with your pre-brew flow rate, which you can increase or decrease. Things like your extended pre-brew, which you have the option to add as much as you want of. The same with the decline towards the end of the shot. Taken together with things like your dose, yield, grind size, basket choice. There are so many things you can do here. So I really hope this shows how powerful this machine is, how much possibility there is within that Slare shot framework. And if you want to learn more about the Espresso single group or the other machines in the Slare range, you can subscribe to the channel by clicking in this circle. As I said before, these videos are not designed to be prescriptive, but if you do want that kind of navigation system to get you started when brewing a Slare shot, you can check out the Slare shot flowchart, which I'll link in the description below. And there's also a video popping up on screen now, which is essentially a full walkthrough of how to get started when brewing a Slare shot. In the next video, we're going to flip all of this on its head, and I'll be sharing with you what we're calling the reverse Slare shot, which I'm really excited to have out in the world. And when that drops, I'll put it in a video just here. So thanks for watching, see you in the next video, and cheers.